Smash, Cash, Frog, Splash. WrestleMania Backlash.
There we go.
Call that an AABA here for you, folks. That's it. You're listening to Street Brothers Wrestling Podcast. This is a wrestling podcast. Of course, it's hosted by myself, Cameron Osborne. It's also hosted by Mike the Shoot Shepherd.
Boom.
And this is the only wrestling podcast that you can find online, which is hosted by the two of us. So this has to be where you get your information for the week. Because, folks, we have a huge week coming up. Not only do we have our normal ins and outs, of course, we have a pay-per-view to cover. Of course, we have more releasings.
Yeah,
happening every day before our eyes. The company that keeps getting bigger keeps making itself smaller. I love it. I love this, by the way. I love it when a huge organization trims a couple bucks. You know, it's great to see. You know, you'll have huge Loblaws adding a couple self-checkouts.
Yeah.
Just because I will trim a couple bucks here. That's okay. It's good for our bottom line, but we'll get to a little more information about that later. Probably somewhere in maybe the second half of the show. How's that sound?
Sounds good. We got lots of news to talk about. Maybe even some new shows to talk about as well.
Oh my God, I cannot wait, Mike. This podcast is even getting bigger. See, one thing I love about the wrestling world getting bigger is that in turn the podcast gets bigger also. Right? The more professional wrestling there is, the more podcast material that you and I have, and we're just going to keep going because this is episode 131. We're going into the stratosphere on this one, baby. So before we get into our week, I guess, or, we're going to get to the pay-per-view, we're going to get to the rest of the action, but we're going to give you here, probably, I guess, a little abbreviated SmackDown Live. Okay, folks, it's Friday night. It's time for SmackDown Live. It used to be on Tuesday, but then, I think it was on Friday before, though. No, wait, they used to film it on a Thursday and then release it. It's just SmackDown Live.
Yeah.
Because of course, there are, although it is just 48 hours before Backlash, we still have to bring a lot of momentum to the show.
Yeah. I mean, we've even got a title match that couldn't make the card, so.
And why? Who knows? We need our pay-per-views to be a hair over 3 hours. So, sometimes it's good to throw, certain title matches onto the show. Because, why the heck not?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple I would have traded for this, but whatever.
No, well, whatever.
Let's just talk about that match then. Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax defended those women's tag titles against Natalya and Tamina, and I think we know what to expect. We've been seeing these two go at it for, I don't know, a month or so now.
Feels like it.
Anyway, Reggie's there. He's trying to interfere, but thankfully the ref is having none of his shit. Ejects him from ringside, so we get a clean match at least. Eventually Tamina gets the hot tag. Her and Natalya climb to the top rope. Natalya hits a big German suplex. She suplexes Baszler on the floor and then back in the ring. Tamina hits Nia with the Superfly Splash. Gets a 3 count. So Tamina's finally done it. First ever belt. And, good for Natty. Only her third ever title. But tag titles.
Yeah, reigning tag supreme. Finally. They've tasted these titles since even prior to WrestleMania. Which, putting an end a much longer than necessary championship run for Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Reginald, wherever the fuck he is, nobody really cares about. I guess fantastic. I guess it just feels like it should have happened at Mania, right?
Yeah, they had the crowd there. They were all cheering for Tamina. So.
Not only did they have the crowd there, and kind of like there was the double night implications too, right? The gauntlet match. Or whatever it was, kind of gauntlet eliminator,
turmoil.
Which occurred on night 1 and then leading into night 2. I don't know, like all the eyes would have been on them there, but instead of kind of giving it away on free television, huge moment.
Yeah,
and Pat McAfee's got so much energy in his voice. He makes everything feel exciting. He made this feel like a genuinely huge moment.
Yeah, and I mean, same with the girls in the ring. They were emotional, crying, cutting a quick little promo about dreams coming true. And then we had we did have a pretty big pyro. It was like a WrestleMania pyro for them. So
it felt like it. Well, after that long in the business, this is the moment you've been waiting for.
Yeah, she's finally a champ. So I saw a little backstage thing after on YouTube, just more emotional celebrations, and yeah, everyone's just happy for her. So good for them, and even better that Nia and Shayna finally fucking lost.
Yeah, well, but what scares me about Nia and Shayna Baszler not being tag team champions is that it opens up Nia Jax to be a champion of something else.
Well, at the very least, you'll have to stick to one show.
Yeah, I guess are they a Raw team?
I think they're both.
Or
Raw.
they're both on Raw. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It's kind of almost hard to forget. I mean, it feels like at least since the most recent kind of brand swap or whatever it's called, they've had these championships, so they've just been flip flopping.
Yeah. But I guess the one other little thing that happened was Nakamura took King Corbin's crown and put it on his head. So King Nakamura looks pretty cool, and maybe this means King of the Ring's coming back.
Yeah, King of Strong Style. I'll tell you that much for sure.
Yeah. So other than that, the main event, Jimmy Uso versus Cesaro, and it was going pretty good until Roman and Jay come out, ruin it with the DQ. So, but the title match was the most important thing of SmackDown.
Yeah.
Anything else?
It really was. In terms of go home shows, not really exciting.
Yeah, you just had
especially
all the other guys.
I think somewhere in the middle there we had I believe they called it a Medal of Honor ceremony or a Call of Duty ceremony. I'm not too sure. Between Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz. Again, but not having that belt on the card for the pay-per-view, it just kind of makes you wonder why talk about it on the pay-per-view or why talk about it on the free show if it's not going to be on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know.
A little weird booking decision, but who knows? Can't all be perfect. We only have 2 hours to do this.
Yeah. But let's just jump right into that pay-per-view then, shall we?
Yeah, sounds great. Of course, we are talking about not just Backlash, but WrestleMania Backlash. Review. And I gotta give credit to, of course, it must suck. If you've ever worked a job where you have a boss or manager constantly kind of like, do this, do that, constantly over top of you, micromanaging picture that, but it's a headset in your ears and it's an old man screaming at you because every single time not a single announcer said the word Backlash without first saying the words WrestleMania. So I really have to give credit to the entire commentary staff for really sticking to it, adding 4 syllables when 2 syllables would suffice.
Yeah,
that's 2/3 more syllables than they needed to say. But we are talking about WrestleMania Backlash. We do have a fair amount. Not every belt's on the line. Of course, those women's championships aren't going to be there. The IC title is not going to be there. But surprisingly, I guess on the kickoff show was a non-title match.
Yeah, Sheamus, he's been doing this a lot. I don't know what his problem is. But I guess he's just being a heel, being a dick. But he comes out for some sort of open challenge. And it's answered by Ricochet. And he's just kind of dressed in his jeans now. He doesn't wear tights anymore. Just like these tight black jeans, I guess. And
I swear, Ricochet's had more in-ring attire changes.
Yeah.
Like, over this very kind of short course of time, he's done trunks. He did a full bodysuit at one point. He did kind of like the short shorts.
Shorts. Yeah.
Just pants only. This guy is all over the place. The only thing we haven't done is the... like a singlet, kind of like that Baron Corbin tight,
or like a Kurt Angle wrestling,
a Kurt Angle kind of look, Powerhouse Hobbs kind of look.
Yeah.
But who knows? That could be next.
Who knows? Maybe that's exactly it. He doesn't have a character. He's like, I gotta find my look. I just gotta find my look.
Wear every combination of shit until something works.
But he probably wasn't even supposed to be. This was probably supposed to be Humberto Carrillo originally, but that little injury scare. But anyways, Ricochet still gets some moves in. He goes for that 630, but Sheamus avoids it. Hits a rising knee lift, and then gets a 3 count. And then he goes to cut a promo after, but Ricochet attacks him and steals his clothes. Puts on his hat and coat, and then just kind of runs away.
And there's a new outfit for you. The kid wearing his dad's clothes type of look. It'll be a baggy white, kind of sleeveless shirt. Baggy pants, baggy hat. You're right. It probably was supposed to be Humberto Carrillo, or as soon as I heard non-title, I was thinking Mansoor was going to come in and then get that kind of redemption win over whatever his name is, Sheamus, bringing his record to, I guess, an applausible 50-1 versus 49-1.
Yeah, that would have made sense. We haven't even seen the guy since then. So.
No.
But the only other thing that happened on the kickoff was the Dirty Dogs backstage. They confront Dominic and just beat him down, throw a couch on top of him.
Wow.
So, so he might be a little banged up. That tag title match is in question. But that was it. That brings us right to the main show, which we get this opening narrated by Batista, I guess to tie in with this Army of Dead promotion, which there'll be much more later.
Much more later. Of course, you can check it out May 21st on Netflix. Zack Snyder presents Army of Dead, starring Dave Batista, Tig Notaro, others, I'm sure. D'Elia was supposed to be in it. They refilmed all of his role, all of his part, which is very much so true. They restarted production so they could replace him in the movie, which is fantastic. But the show, the opening match for the event, we will have that Raw Women's Championship match. We have Rhea Ripley defending against Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Woo.
Yeah, dressed up as Cruella de Vil with her little
which
Dalmatian.
You can check out live on Disney Plus next week, I think, or this.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
ladies love it. They're going wild for it.
Yeah, no, apparently
she's apparently the woman that wanted to kill puppies is now an icon that people like.
Isn't that bizarre? It's funny how kind of history or kind of when the way a story permeates through a culture, it kind of gets shifted. Kind of here and there. I think, my personal favorite example is the Risky Business example. Everybody loves Risky Business because it's Tom Cruise in his, in the collared shirt, little tighty whities, old time rock and roll. He slides into the room. He's got the sunglasses on, where in fact the actual Risky Business was him opening a whorehouse in his parents' house because he totaled his dad's car. Again, history likes to shift some of these narratives sometimes.
And speaking of shifting, I'll always bring it up when there's a chance because in that famous scene, Tom Cruise never wears the sunglasses, but everyone thinks he does.
Oh, okay, you're right. No, you are there. There you go. You know what? It's the DVD jacket, like the movie poster.
Yeah.
He's got the sunglasses on, but now I'm trying to think why would he put the sunglasses on unless he was driving? Maybe he puts them on at the end?
It's one of those things, though. Every time it's parodied, they have the sunglasses on. It's one of those false memory Mandela.
It's similar to Cruella de Vil. The woman wanted to kill 100 puppies, but we're giving her a backstory starring Oscar-winning actress Emma Stone. Enough about that, though. Let's get into this championship match here. Let's get into it.
Yeah, good opening match here. Lots of submissions going on. Ripley using the strength. Charlotte hits a big moonsault to the floor. And then a little after that, she hits a double natural selection. Goes for the pin on both women, but they kick out. So things are going pretty smoothly. But then the finish seemed pretty weird to me because Charlotte's standing outside on the apron, fighting with Asuka. She boots Asuka back in the ring, right into the clutches of Ripley, who hits the riptide, covers Asuka, gets a 3 count. And then pan back to Charlotte. Now she's somehow watching from the floor, but she was on the apron seconds ago, so I don't know how she didn't get in.
A bit of a weird finish, and I gotta say, So Rhea Ripley took the belt off of Asuka over at Mania. They've had a couple matches since then, and of course this one. Rhea Ripley and Asuka have terrible in-ring chemistry, which I find so surprising because we've oftentimes applauded them both for having so much chemistry with everybody on the outside. Of course, Asuka Charlotte go fucking years back. That Asuka Charlotte Becky match, I think it was at TLC. I think was, possibly one of my favorite matches the women's division's ever given us. And Rhea Ripley on the other side has done her share of amazing things, but these two do not work well together. And I think the faster Rhea Ripley can move away from anything Asuka, the better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the result, Ripley retaining, but yeah, the match could have been better, and I thought that finish looked weird. Yeah, could have been better, but happy with the result.
Happy with the result. Would love to see Asuka move down to kind of like a mid-card of Raw women, because Asuka has good matches with everybody, and this could be, I would love to see that again, just Asuka Mandy, sure, Asuka Lana.
Help bring them up to her level a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the thing. And it's, the women's division is so staggered where I think Asuka's like 42 years old. She's like the AJ Styles of the women's division. She came in late. She's great and has no problem working any kind of match. She could do that for the women's kind of mid-card, really bring them up and maybe kind of help create Rhea's next challenger.
Yeah, that'd be good. She had that big, long title reign. She should take a little break.
Yeah.
A little break from the title scene. But then we go backstage where Dominic, he's in the medical room from that beating earlier. His ribs are all injured. So Ray just says, "Don't worry, son. I got this." And he goes out to fight on his own. So we just jump right into that. Dolph and Robert Roode defending against Rey Mysterio for now. SmackDown Tag Title match.
Okay. The old 2-on-1, I guess.
Yeah. And Ray came out. He had the classic Adam West style Batman gear with the gray and the blue.
The light gray and blue look.
Yeah, I love that color scheme.
He's got
not so much the Adam West outfit, but the actual colors.
The color scheme. Yeah, well, Rey Mysterio is always going to give you, or he'll often give you a fun comic-themed or comic-inspired ring attire of some kind.
Yeah, he loves it. But, he's fighting uphill here, 2-on-1. And I got to say, I was impressed with Roode and Ziggler in this. Getting to see them in a full pay-per-view length match. They were pulling out a bunch of cool team moves that you don't really see. Like, I don't know, this famouser wheelbarrow suplex thing. Could have been their finisher.
That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, that should have been their finisher. But then you had Ray. He was doing his little slip and slide spot. He did it like 10 different ways.
Yeah, my favorite was the one I think Roode sort of found himself against the ropes with his legs spread open, and then Ray slides between Bobby Roode's belly, or sorry, falls on his belly and lands onto a little splash onto Dolph Ziggler outside the ring.
And then he tried it a second time, I think, and right into a super kick. And that might have been where Ray, he starts bleeding from the mouth. So, he took a bunch of good kicks to the head.
Well, he was taking them all. I mean, God Christ, the guy was in there for 12 and a half minutes by himself.
You timed it, eh?
No, I'm gonna say about that.
Okay. I thought you had exact. But no, he was in there. He was hanging in all by himself until injured Dominic comes strolling down, takes his place in the corner. But Ray doesn't want to tag him in. He's like, "No, son, I got this." But and then Dolph hits him with the zigzag. And for some reason, Dominic just stood there and was like, "Oh no," rather than try to break up the pin.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's he's too new to WWE. He doesn't know that you're allowed to break the rules.
Yeah. I mean, the zigzag, it's not a very protected finishing move.
The zigzag may be the least protected finishing maneuver of all time. I can't think of one that's been kicked out of more than zigzag. And it's been decades of this. It's been 12 years of the zigzag being kicked out of.
Yeah, and that wasn't going to stop here.
Going to stop here.
Yeah. Ray kicks out. Finally, reluctantly, Dominic gets tagged in, and he just unloads on the Dirty Dogs. Dolph goes for a super kick, but Dominic counters with his own super kick. And eventually Ray gets back in, hits the 619. Dominic follows up with the frog splash, gets the 3 count. Ray and Dominic are new tag champs.
Champs. First ever father-son.
Yes.
Because it would have never been able to happen, I think, before this.
Yeah, I mean,
to have like a father and son, they're really only like 20-ish years apart. But the dad still being able to compete at that level when you're in your 40s.
Yeah,
it's amazing what Rey Mysterio can do.
This is another one they could have done this on WrestleMania, had the nice happy moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think we had this. There was like a SmackDown thing that was.
Yeah,
before
SmackDown the night before WrestleMania.
Right, something like that. But yeah, that's great. Congratulations, Dominic, getting your first title victory with your father. Must be very, very, very special moment. And maybe I want to now see the Dominic Mysterio that, again, I believe we were promised when he came into WWE. It was like, oh, this guy's going to be huge. But then it turned out he had a hot sister. But now maybe
I think we even got a brief appearance from her on like a video call.
It was a video call or something,
reaction.
or she was she had a quote or an interview or something like that.
They was just cheering when like, yeah, he did it.
Way to go, Dom.
Way to go. Then we move backstage where John Morrison, he's looking around. He's trying to find. He finds the Lumberjacks locker room for the night. And he wants to scout the situation. But when he opens the door, he finds a room full of zombies. And they just shuffle their way out. Make their way down to the ring. Because that Lumberjack match is next. So
boom, I'm waiting for you, baby. Of course, we have The Miz. Of course, we have Damian Priest. They've got each other in a lumberjack match. The type of matches where you see all your favorites standing at ringside. You'll get the artist formerly known as Tucky.
No, he's gone.
That's why I said artist formerly known as.
Okay.
We might get whichever remaining members of Lucha House Party are still here. The rest of the gaggle. Usually.
I mean, on a normal day, but this pay-per-view is brought to you by Army of the Dead once again. So the lights dim down, the Thunderdome screens just become this dilapidated city as the zombies come around, they surround the ring. And they weren't quite B-movie level zombies, but they weren't. I'm sure the actual Army of the Dead has better looking zombies.
I think there's also some CGI zombies in there.
They had
film.
yeah. But they had makeup, so it was. But we're not gonna lie, this was pretty dumb. They did a KFC Colonel Sanders Battle Royale once, but that was pre-taped and not even aired during the actual pay-per-view.
Oh, that sounds fun. Was Ellen one of the colonels?
I think Dolph Ziggler was the winning Colonel Sanders.
Nice.
Yeah. But, so, they surround the ring. The wrestlers get in and, they did the job. They did act like lumberjacks. They didn't try to get in. I mean, they were reaching their hands in, but they didn't just jump in the ring, these zombies. They obeyed the rules. But they were still zombies, shuffling around, just trying to grab at you.
Classic zombie, kind of arm out but wrist flopping down.
Yeah.
Brains, things like that.
Yeah. So Miz and Priest, they're fighting, but they're weirded out. They don't want to be touched by these zombies. And at one point, they just kind of work together to fight off a horde outside the ring. And Morrison comes down. He starts doing parkour all over the place. But eventually, the zombies get a hold of him, and they just rip him down over the barricade into the void, where they presumably feast on his flesh.
On his brains.
And then we go back in the ring. Priest, he hit the lights on Miz, gets the win. And it should note, at one point during the match, Priest did like this drop kick off the top rope and landed on Miz's leg, which apparently tore the ACL, and Miz toughed it out and finished the match.
Really? Shit, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I didn't notice at the time, but then I kind of went back and skimmed through, and you can kind of see him hobbling a bit. But he's a tough guy. He gets the win. And unfortunately, after Priest walks away, the match is over, so it's fair game. they all just swarm the ring, surround the Miz, just a big pile, and devour him, I guess. So that injury might actually be good timing because now they can write him off. He's dead.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I guess if that's what happened, then yeah, certainly. I didn't know that.
Come back as a zombie.
But yeah, let's get to that. So that's it. Damian Priest wins. This was gobbledygook level, right?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I think the only way that this could have been worse if Zack Snyder himself directed a version of this where it was just slow-mo, because Zack Snyder loves the slow motion. We all know this. I like to picture zombie scenes from this match, but like twice as long. Suddenly, this 6.5-minute match turns into, I don't know, like we get like Zack Snyder's lumberjack match. You know, kind of he adds a couple extra hours into it, really fleshes out a story. Who knows? I think the Miz and Damian Priest, they have, there could be a director's cut of this matchup.
Yeah. So this was, there was nothing good about it, but it was not the worst thing in the history of wrestling.
Definitely was not the worst thing in the history of professional wrestling. Yeah, this was just the worst in a while.
Worst, yeah, definitely.
It
just had no reason, just such a stupid
no reason.
promotion.
I want to know how much. Like, do you pay for a sponsor? How does this work? How much money was exchanged hands for this agreement, for this thing to go down, is what I wonder.
Yeah. I wonder if it was not, I mean, it might have even been Vince's idea. It's like, let's just throw some zombies.
Yeah, whose idea was it? How long was this planned for? And who was using their fucking brain? Because we have so 2 weeks ago, maybe, The Miz was the WWE champion. No, about a month ago.
Maybe 2 months ago.
2 months ago? Regardless, the man who won the WWE Championship back in February is now cowering around a bunch of zombies and fake smoke. It's just to see such a fall from grace is something which happens. You know, we do see that here in WWE. We do see that. And it's always just a shame, so let's move on.
Yeah, and he got hurt.
And he got hurt!
Yeah.
Jesus.
And The Miz has never had an injury in his long career.
He's too consistent.
Yeah. But let's move along. We got the SmackDown Women's title match. Bianca Belair defending against Bayley. And as always, I love Bianca Belair's gear, which she makes herself. So good for her.
Well, that's cool.
But it's always like that reversible sequence stuff. But good match here, you know. Bianca just showing off that athleticism, that cockiness, and Bayley just being wily, crafty, but doing all that. She loves doing that evil cackle now, that laugh of hers. That's her new thing.
That ha ha ha.
Yeah, so fake. But at one point, Bayley goes for a suicide dive, but then Bianca avoids it. She just crashes to the floor. It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bayley's cheating. She's grabbing the ropes. She's poking Bianca in the eyes. She uses Bianca's hair as a ripcord to pull her into the Bayley to belly. But Belair kicks out at 2. So Bayley goes back to the hair, wraps her up goes for the rose plant. But then Bianca rolls through and uses her own hair to wrap up Bayley's legs, ties her up in the pin, gets the 3 count. The hair kind of slipped off during the pin, but Bayley's shoulders stayed down, so it was a 3 count.
Stayed down?
Once again, Michael Cole nearly botches it at the end by saying, "Did Bayley kick out?" But no, couldn't ruin Belair's moment.
Yeah. Minor. Yeah, I mean, she's still. I think Bianca Belair is still working to, kind of really leading this women's division, especially after we've had like the years and years of experience that Bayley and Sasha Banks brought to this division. Right, and Becky Lynch before her, and there have been so many the women's division has been so strong for so long. Now we've kind of brought in 2, comparatively speaking, newbies to bleed both women's divisions on both rosters. She'll get there.
She'll get there.
She'll get there on that level that we've come to expect from the top of the women's division here in WWE.
Yeah, and she was never NXT champion, so this is her first time as
exactly. Yeah, like you know, I don't want to use the word green because I feel like green has like an implication of like young and dumb. You know, so but you know, in terms of like in terms of experience here in the industry, quite green comparatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we all know she's pretty good.
Yeah, can't wait to see what she does.
But let's move on to this WWE title triple threat match. Bobby Lashley defending against Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. And I will just say right off the bat, going into this match, I didn't really care much at all, but it absolutely exceeded expectations for me.
Yeah, I can see that there too. We weren't too excited about this, so maybe any level of excitement would be exceeding expectations.
Yeah, but I mean, as soon as the bell rung, they just kicked it into high gear and they didn't slow down. And three huge men here. They were just flying all around the ring like cruiserweights at times.
A lot of beef.
But yeah, with the beef comes the massive strength. So, you know, at one point, Lashley and Drew team up. They hit Braun with a very impressive stalling vertical suplex. I don't think I've ever seen Strowman like held up off his feet that long in his life.
Never.
Yeah, upside down. So that was cool. But then they fight outside to the floor. So they're on the floor, and then Braun comes running off the apron with this huge diving clothesline, but he like flips forward as he does it, almost lands on his head.
That one was a little close.
I don't know if he was trying to do like a flip, like a senton, or if he just overshot it, but either way, yeah, he almost died, but it was a great looking spot. Looked good for him. But Drew wants to get in on the high flying, so Drew hits big crossbody off the top rope, and it's a triple threat, so he gets some weapons, some steel steps involved, and then Drew and Lashley, they break off. They fight their way up to the top of the stage, up near the LED boards, and Drew ends up throwing Lashley through the LED board, causing an explosion. And I'm going to say it for the next couple of years. This looked better than the exploding barbed wire, this little explosion here.
Just this little amount of...
Just this little poop. Yeah. The timing was good. Anyways, they always get him pretty good. But that takes Bobby out. He's kind of in the abyss there. We don't know where he's gone. But then back in the ring, Braun nails Drew with a massive senton. He just got all his weight on him here. But soon after that, McIntyre hits a fucking Michinoku driver on Braun Strowman. This really was like a cruiserweight match in a big man's body.
Yeah.
I loved it. Big near fall. So they go back outside the ring. Braun goes for his choo-choo shoulder tackle. But then he gets caught with a belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. I don't know. His head almost fucking hit the floor.
Yeah,
again.
that one was also very close.
Yeah, he was bumping like a madman in this match. I give Braun props. But Drew goes to follow up with the Claymore, but then Braun catches him with a power bomb, slams him through the announce table. They get back in the ring, and this time Drew does hit the Claymore, but then Lashley runs in, tosses Drew out, and then hits a spear on Braun, covers him, gets a 3 count, retains his title. But yeah, I thought, like I said, this match was really good. Way better than I thought it would ever be.
Yeah, when WWE puts all that beef in the ring, you often get a good match. I can recall this was very, very similar to the it was SummerSlam a bunch of years ago. Brock, Braun, Roman, and Samoa Joe, where a lot of beef. How are they going to make it work? Take out the champion halfway through so we can come back, run the show, and then get the victory. Kind of having that, swooping in and capitalizing. You can book a match like this, and it's going to work, and these guys all put in one hell of an effort.
Yeah, I think this may have been Strowman's best match of his career.
Wow.
With the stuff, I mean, he hasn't had too many of them, but with the bumps he was taking, the moves he was doing, I don't know.
I mean, that being said, literally nothing else comes to mind, so maybe.
And this wasn't, I'd give this match 4.5 stars.
Wow.
I liked it.
You liked it. Hey, that's all. It just needs to hit right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But then we get an announcement that our next pay-per-view is going to be Hell in a Cell on June 20th. Huh. So the calendar's been shifted officially. So no more October. The rumor has it that that'll be the Extreme Rules now in October, and Money in the Bank moves to July, and everything else is the way it was.
Okay, everything else still a little shifted. Because who was the... Oh, yeah, Otis gave it to The Miz. Okay, right, we're back. It's been a while since... I feel like it's been a while since since we've had a Money in the Bank kind of thing going on.
Yeah, and on the opposite side, it's only been 7 months since we had Hell in a Cell. So it's kind of weird, but whatever. Let's go to the main event of the evening. We got Roman Reigns defending that Universal title against Cesaro, who came out wearing these vampire fangs on his mouth guard.
It was a cool look. He also had his Instagram handle on his jacket. I don't know if you picked that little part up.
No, I was just focused on the fangs.
Okay.
Looking to sink his teeth into his first ever world championship.
There you go.
But the big dog, Roman, comes out, and he's only got Paul Heyman at his side. So we might have a nice clean match here with no interference.
Hopefully.
So let's just get right into this, because these guys, they got to go nearly 30 minutes, and it didn't drag at all. I was invested all the way through. But, Cesaro, he's early on in the match, he gets thrown to the floor and falls hard on his elbow. So that's one of the storylines of the match. He's got that injured arm, and Reigns is just working it over. So, he's preventing him from fully hitting some of those moves, those uppercuts. But, yeah, we just got a lot of just good technical wrestling. Reigns tries to turn it into a brawl, just ground and pound. But, yeah, Cesaro fights back. Lots of cool moves. Tries to get the sharpshooter in, but that injured arm is making it hard. So Roman just keeps working it over and starts shouting out free agent Daniel Bryan as he does it, just mocking him as he's doing his technical wrestling. So who knows? But Cesaro fights back, but every move he's doing is just hurting that arm. He goes for the neutralizer, but he can't get him up. So he goes for the springboard corkscrew uppercut. But Reigns catches him midair with a Superman punch, but Cesaro kicks out of that. So Reigns goes for the guillotine, but Cesaro escapes that, gets the sharpshooter applied, but again, he can't get the full leverage because of that arm. So Roman escapes, starts pounding on Cesaro, locks in the guillotine again. Cesaro tries to power out, stands up, but he just can't do it. And he fades to black. The ref rings the bell. Roman retains the title.
Roman retains in what I can only give an A+ of a grade. You're right. The longer the match, the more you can tell. And starting a match slow and allowing it to slowly pick up, gaining speed over time, like that creates, pacing between these moments of chaos where, yeah, you're watching the match. We know Roman's going to hold this through WrestleMania. But there's always going to be that little bit of a shot. And I love it when Roman Reigns, we get the little zoomed in, turn up the mic, listen to him talk a little bit. He's so good at this now. And he always calls it wrestling. I got to give him that. He says, I love wrestling. I love wrestling. I'm like, yeah, that's right, because you don't love sports entertainment. You love wrestling. And that's exactly it, the story that you can tell. And, commentary doing a great job of keep putting Roman over, reminding us that he pinned both Edge and Daniel Bryan simultaneously back there at Mania, which Edge, still nowhere to be seen. It's been such a, that was such a difficult concerto.
Yeah. Then after the match, I think Jay comes out, puts the old lay on Roman, and then he asks him if he can beat up Cesaro, and Roman gives him permission. So he beats him up a bit. And then Seth Rollins comes out, and he's got this, suit that looks like got a bunch of paint cans spilled on it.
And a thumbs up. He's got a thumbs up for suit. It looked incredible.
So he comes out to pick the bones and just beats on Cesaro some more. So, I don't know. I thought that feud was over. I was ready to move on from those two, but I guess Seth's not. So he just beats Cesaro up some more, hits it with a chair, targets that arm.
And, well, I think what I gathered more than this, it was Seth and Roman sharing the same camera frame for now 2 weeks. I think last week they saw each other on SmackDown. We've been saying, no true babyface contender for this SmackDown championship quite yet, but who knows? I mean, I feel like these two different characters, these Tribal Chief and Monday Night Messiah characters, are so different than the former Roman and Seth Rollins that this could be a fresh set of matches, even though they're both heels.
Yeah, no, definitely. They'll have to meet up at some point in the ring, and it does seem like they're teasing it a bit here, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, that's it. And that was the entire pay-per-view, short of the zombie stuff. This was a great pay-per-view. Even though a little bit predictable of a card at times, but certainly the action, I gotta say, made up for it.
Yeah, the in-ring quality was there, and good show.
Which is all we're ever waiting for. Well, that was fantastic, Mike. So let's get into the rest of our wrestling week. Let's kick off our wrestling week the only way that we know how, which is to crown a brand new Tweet of the Week champion. It's the Tweet of the Week. It's the Tweet of the Week. Brand new Tweet of the Week champion over here. Mike, I was looking at, sort of just examining the current state of WWE champions. Bobby, Roman, Sheamus, Apollo. Formerly, of course, Shayna, Nia, Rhea Ripley. Letting me thinking. We're often giving these tweets away to tweets that we like. We're giving these babyface Tweet of the Week champions. But if I just looked at, the way that the world really is, no, heels run the world. Sometimes, and it's not every time you're going to get a babyface champion. I mean, hell, even look over on AEW. I have no clue what Hikaru Shida is, but our three main champions are all heels.
Yeah.
So why would I think that just because this is, the Tweet of the Week championship, would it be any different? Because this week, our Tweet of the Week champion is a heel, baby. Maybe not in character, but in personality. Brand new Tweet of the Week champion goes to now 3-time Tweet of the Week champion Ricochet. Little backstory to what's going on here. WWE posted out one of their classic normal posts, whatever. Question: who is the best high flyer in WWE right now? Showing photos of Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles, Io Shirai. So on. And then, of course, Ricochet responded to that tweet by saying, there's literally no one who can do what I do and how I do, but I'll let y'all discuss. And then people started throwing out their suggestions. Maybe it was Rey Mysterio. Maybe it was AJ Styles. Maybe it was multiple shooty winner Io Shirai. Well, I guess that was where everyone's favorite maskless wrestler, if you get what I mean, Ricochet, took to Twitter and responded to fans at ADTR19961 and at Io Shirai. I guess everyone was tagged into this post. He said, I'm not saying she's not amazing. She's 100% is, but I can do, all caps, everything she can, probably even better. She can't do what I am capable of, maybe not even half. Ooh, that's a heel move. It's a heel move when you delete the tweet immediately afterwards. But of course, somebody's out there to screen grab it, baby. Remember, don't go to a party with Ricochet, and be sure not to call him out on Twitter. Ricochet, you're our brand new Tweet of the Week champion.
Ricochet the Dickochet.
I like that one. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that was him just being a dick. That wasn't in character. That was him.
I think
being
that was
a jerk.
actual, asshole Ricochet. I don't think there's anything to it. I think he's a bad person.
I mean, the more you hear about him and his wife Casey, they don't seem like that good people.
They don't seem like good people. So who knows? Maybe that'll come up kind of even further. But again, great heel work.
Yeah. Okay. Io Shirai will kick your ass any day, bud.
Probably could. Well, let's move forward with the week, shall we? Let's move over to the show. You know what it is? It's like in university where it's something like for a few years there. You had to have the one 3-hour lecture. You couldn't avoid it. But sometimes you could avoid when you chose to have it. Like 3 p.m. 3 to 6 on a Wednesday is much better than 9 to 12 on a Friday morning. But knowing that you have that 3-hour lecture first thing in the week, you're recovering from the Friday parties, the Saturday party, you're doing your thing, you're a student, and then knowing, oh my God, I have a 3-hour lecture on Monday, that's absolute hell. That's the must-skip class of the week, but not if you're a professional wrestling fan, because it is the exact amount of time for our flagship show. Of course, we're talking about Monday Night Raw.
Let's get raw. Let's get raw.
We got champions, we got beef, and a little kid named Lily. So let's get right into it. The show actually opens with a side of Bobby Lashley we've never seen before, because usually he's cucking into one woman. But we see him surrounded by 5 beautiful women, kind of walking himself down to the ring. And, of course, MVP is there also.
That's right. Together they cut a promo about, being successful at Backlash, and they're here tonight ready to issue an open challenge. So Drew McIntyre comes out, says, yeah, I want a shot. But then MVP says, no, you didn't let me finish. Anyone but you or Braun. So back of the line. Then Drew ends up punching Lashley. So,
simple.
I don't know. I was simple, but, I'm done with, I don't need these two to be fighting anymore for now.
Well, not only do I need none of these two to be fighting before, didn't something crazy happen last week where Raw opened without a promo? I remember it was really weird, and it kind of threw us all off, and now we're kind of back to our old games. Similar to the problem with Roman over on the other side, where, there's no real next competitor. I think Bobby, or if he is moving on from Braun and Drew, finds himself in a similar problem. Who is the next challenger for Bobby Lashley? Who's got that much beef?
I don't know. Maybe, give someone the Cesaro push. Let someone step up.
Yeah, who's the underrated talent that we can really make something, because this isn't setting up much for the future. Or it could. We are going to get some, probably in our main event, will be Bobby Lashley's open challenge.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's probably not going to be one of these two guys. We got AJ Styles taking on Elias. But nothing important here. AJ goes for a phenomenal forearm, and Jackson Riker knocks him down on the outside, causing the DQ.
Which I guess that's it. The heel on heel thing. It's so funny. All of these, this tag team explosion over here on Monday Night Raw, but we're still booking this heel versus heel kind of feud. Even though we've got Riddle kind of coming in there on the other side with the RK Bros, and of course the Viking Experience, who seem to be a one and done type of tag team. Or maybe we're trying to turn kind of Omos and Styles babyface, just cause they've done the kind of shit before. We're gonna need a promo or two to determine what we're supposed to think about AJ Styles and Omos.
Yeah.
Maybe a talk show segment of some kind.
We need something. But we go backstage where Riddle, he's making up some stories to the New Day and Randy Orton. He lied to both of them to get them all to come together and meet, because he wants them all to combine their powers into a party of 4. So Riddle proposes that Orton apologizes to the New Day, and he says it's not going to happen, and just starts insulting Kofi. So Kofi challenges him to a match. Yeah, Riddle's plan backfired.
A SummerSlam 2019 rematch. For those of you who were fortunate enough to be in attendance.
Yeah. Then it's time for your favorite segment, Alexa's Playground, where her and Lily, they bring out their guests, the new tag champs, Natalya and Tamina.
Wait. Alexa's Playground's a talk show segment right now, so we changed the set, changed the outfit, and a moment of bliss is now Alexa's Playground.
I guess so. Okay. It's nice to know that. I mean, it was backstage, wasn't it?
No, it was front and center, baby. Well, I mean, I guess everything's backstage in front of no fans, but it was up there for all of us to see.
But I mean, like, it wasn't in the ring. This
No. It was at the top of the ramp, similar to where a Moment of Bliss used to take place. But that's another story for another day.
Well, I guess, yeah. She's asking some questions. Natalia answers them. But
No, she's not asking some questions. See, if you're going to do a talk show segment, at least ask some valuable questions. I think she asks what she's doing here, I believe was a question. I believe, what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Was also a question.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, there are some of the most famous talk show segments in the history of WWE. You know, the Miz TV, the Peep Show, the Kevin Owens Show. You know, they ask the Corey Graves' electrical chair. They ask some of the most thought-provoking questions in professional wrestling.
I think they're more provoking than they are thoughtful. They're usually trying to get a rise out of people.
They're usually trying to get a rise out of someone, or the theory I had secondarily speaking is that, of course, Corey Graves and Kevin Owens is going to ask an adult question because they're an adult. You know, what kind of question would an 11-year-old ask somebody? What's your favorite color? I mean, boom, suddenly it all starts to make sense. And
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is actually just supposed to be a 12-year-old girl.
Well, I think it's pretty much any kids show. If you watch any kids show, they all dress like kids. They all act like kids, even though they're adults.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Wiggles?
I've heard of the Wiggles.
Yeah.
I mean,
pretty
unless
much looks
so
identical to
WWE is
Alexa
going
Bliss.
for a Wiggles type thing to
No,
connect
but I
with
think-
their 18 to 49-year-old audience.
I don't think it's what you think it is, where she's trying to look like a kid for sexual perverse reasons.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. I watch a lot of kids shows with my niece.
You do
and
watch
that's
a lot
how
of kid
they all
shows with your
dress.
niece. That is right.
Yeah. But anyways, this whole interview, Tamina's like, this is weird. They walk.
I'm like, thank you, Tamina. This is weird.
So let's just move on to Angel Garza taking on Drew Gulak, who, I guess Gulak wants revenge for that rose up the ass, but doesn't go very well for him. Garza hits the wing clipper, beats him, and then this time he shoves the roads down his throat because he said he was going to do that. So from ass to mouth.
And Angel Garza, what was that, a little 2-match winning streak maybe? Or at least here on the main roster?
Yeah, so who knows? Mm-hmm. We go backstage where R-Truth is hiding out with the 24/7 title, which, we're starting to think maybe he was going to be going the way of Raw Underground for a second there, but still here.
Hey,
was-
Raw Underground's coming back. I don't know why you think it's dead. Just wait, baby. They'll bring it back when you least expect
I
it.
guess so. But Tozawa sneaks up, pins Truth, wins the belt. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, why not? You had another quick Eva Marie hype video, but I'm ready. Bring her on.
No, Mike, you're smarter than that. You know we have another 2.5 months before anything's going to happen.
Yeah, probably. But Randy Orton takes on Kofi Kingston in this match here. Lots of history, so we know what to expect.
Before you get into this, I just have one Eva Marie question for you because, I don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
But, she's the hype thing. She used to be there. Now she's back. So, you kind of get that push. Which superstar do you want her to go over on first? Right? Because right now in the back of Raw, we do have this division of women who have been waiting their turn, whether it be Lana, Naomi, we have Mandy Rose back there, Dana Brooke. Who's the first? Because whoever she fights first is going to take the big L. So who's doing the job to Eva Marie?
Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte, baby. I don't know if you've got the inside scoop on something because that's a hot take.
That's right. That's what we're coming with.
It's a hot take.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, that's I just wanted an answer of some kind.
Yeah. But Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, they're having a match here. But Big Xavier on the outside with that trombone playing is just causing a nuisance. Randy Orton hates it, so he starts yelling at him. But Kofi takes advantage with the distraction, rolls up Orton, gets a 3 count. So Orton's pissed. He walks off. But Riddle shoves Xavier to the ground and walks off after Randy because that wasn't fair.
That wasn't fair. Nobody likes a greasy roll up.
Yeah. Riddle's trying to be the middleman here. He's trying to keep the peace, but they keep fucking with him.
Riddle's in the middle.
There you go. On Sunday nights.
Yeah. It's that's a sitcom, right? That's the name of the sitcom?
Riddle in the middle. Are you talking about Malcolm?
I just, no, I was just saying, yeah, of course it's going to be a sitcom. It's not it's not a 48-minute long-form drama series.
No. Hell no. But we go backstage where all those other women are arguing over who gets the next title shot. But then Charlotte just walks in and clears the room because she wants to talk to Sonya and Adam Pearce. And she tells them she wants a one-on-one against Rhea Ripley. None of that triple threat bullshit. So they say, okay, if you beat Asuka tonight, we'll consider it.
Okay.
Under consideration. We got Tamina and Natalya defending those freshly won titles against Nia and Shayna in the rematch. So let's, more of the same. But this time Alexa comes out in the middle of it to watch from the ramp with Lily. So Shayna gets Tamina in the Kirifuda clutch, and then Reggie's looking on from the corner. But then Bliss uses her powers to shoot some fire up out of the ring post, which causes Reggie to go flying, and he's grabbing at his face. It burned him in the eyeballs. But, this causes Shayna to release the hold, which allows Tamina to tag in Natalya. And then the two of them hit the heart attack to get the win and retain their titles. Thank God.
Thank God. In one of the best 3-minute matches you'll ever see. Throw these 4 women in there, and we were talking about the problems over on SmackDown, and in terms of women's match lengths, and it seems as though even though Natalya and Tamina are over here on Raw, those problems have followed them around. So Alexa Bliss, she's there. She's present. Maybe seems to have her eyes on those WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Mike, will we see our first doll champion? Of course, Alexa Bliss and Lily. Of course, we've seen a little boy as a tag team champion. Of course, no one can forget Nicholas. Are we soon to see our first inanimate object?
Or perhaps it'll be a Pinocchio story and the doll comes to life.
Comes to life, okay.
We have this, they've been training this person for a while in the Performance Center that's ready to be Lily.
Just someone with black hair. She's ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know. But if they do go down that route, Kota Ibushi showed fighting with a doll can work. So.
But that killed the business. That set the business 20 years back. Kota Ibushi giving himself a series of Canadian destroyers in a circle. That sets the business back.
2001 was a hot time for the business. So going back 20 years.
That might not. That might not actually be the worst thing in the world.
But we got another rematch. This show was full of them. Sheamus taking on Ricochet once again. Earlier in the show, Ricochet had stolen Sheamus's clothes backstage. So that's what this feud's about.
Clothes. Well, like we just said, Ricochet's always looking for that new ring attire. So, he clearly has some kind of, confidence issue when it comes to his own wardrobe.
Yeah. He's always wearing that hat to cover up his bald head.
Yeah, probably.
Sheamus comes out. He's all pissed off. Like, get your ass out here with my clothes. But, anyways, Ricochet, they come out. They have their match. They're fighting. At one point, Ricochet hits a big Spanish fly off the top rope for a 2 count. And they were kind of an awkward landing on Sheamus. So I don't know why these past couple of weeks they keep having Sheamus do these big, ambitious spots.
Yeah, I've also wondered that. It's almost like he's asking to do them. Because he's way too big to be doing some of these things. But maybe he wants to, kind of for the first time.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, little. I like the ambition, but we want to be safe here.
Exactly.
But anyways, Ricochet, he's flipping all over the place, but one flip too many as he springboard moonsaults right into a kick from Sheamus. But he kicks out at 2, which I don't know if that was supposed to happen. So Sheamus just picks him up and hits a brogue kick and then pins him. And then he takes his clothes back. Yeah,
gotta say, entertaining though. But yeah, this Ricochet pants, shoes,
Yeah, the jeans.
New look,
Yeah,
I guess.
I thought on Sunday, I'm like, maybe he wasn't ready to compete, and that's why. But like, no,
They're like,
this is
shit,
his
you
look
gotta
now.
get out there. There's one time Roderick Strong came out in pants.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh.
That was legit, though.
We're like, oh, they just called this.
Yeah. So I think, wasn't it like Bobby Fish got injured in the first segment or something? So
It was something like that. Or, yeah, it was the opening. Bobby Fish gets hurt right away, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
get out there. Get out there.
Yeah,
Run out there in pants. I like that.
Well, you might not like the little. We had a backstage promo from Mason T-Bar, and yeah, nothing really. They flip a coin because they're like, "Yeah, one of us is going to challenge Lashley."
And then they flip a coin, and we did not see
that
the
was it.
results.
That was
so
the
I'm like,
last
okay,
we
great.
saw.
So I also don't care.
Yeah.
If you don't care enough to tell me about the results, why should I care enough to care about what the results are?
Yeah, they're still. I don't know. They lost the masks, but they haven't done anything else with them. They're still the same.
Lost
fucking
the
thing.
masks, but haven't lost the spirit.
Yeah, I wish. I don't know. But let's go to Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Yeah, I've seen this enough lately. Don't need it right now. But Rhea Ripley comes out to watch. They go back and forth. Charlotte gets in Ripley's face, talks some smack. So Rhea jumps on the apron, but she ends up eating a boot from Charlotte. But then Asuka catches Charlotte, then roll up for the 3 count. So
Another
no title
the
shot
most
for you.
devastating move in sports entertainment.
Yeah, there was a lot of those.
We've said that before, but yeah, just it's Asuka Charlotte, and these women are gonna get a pay-per-view length match on television because they can be trusted to do so.
Yeah, no, I mean the match was good, but just nothing too new. I mean, like you said, this whole Raw women's title needs a bit of a shake-up.
Mm-hmm. Need some juice.
Yeah, needs some juice. But at least we know Charlotte's not getting the next shot. I bet she'll probably find her way in. I don't know. Speaking of another feud that needs to end, Damian Priest takes on John Morrison this time in another lumberjack match. Probably the first time we've had back-to-back lumberjack matches.
Back-to-back lumberjack.
But the regular jacks this time, no zombies, just the jobbers. A couple people we never see, like Nikki Cross was there. I think Mansoor was there. That was his fucking role.
Mansoor.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess we get a big superplex off the top rope into the pile of wrestlers on the floor. Priest hits a top rope Hurricane Rana and then hit the lights to get the win. And hopefully that's the end.
Hopefully that is the end. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I still can't get those zombies out of my head, though.
In your head. Zombies. Bobby Lashley comes out for his WWE title open challenge, which is answered by Kofi Kingston. So there you go. All those guys, everyone was talking trash all night, saying, I'm going to take the shot. But Kofi's the one that stepped up. But right before the bell rings, MVP says, wait a minute, we never said anything about a title match. So this ain't for no title. So who did say? Who did say it? Was it the beautiful woman that came out at the beginning?
Yeah, one of those thoughts. Let it slip,
Anyways, Bobby versus Kofi. Kofi hangs in there for a while, but Lashley just takes over, starts dominating him until Mr. Drew McIntyre shows up, steals MVP's cane from his hands, and he ends up smashing Bobby right in the neck right behind the ref's back. And then once again, Kofi with the roll-up gets the 3 count.
2 straight roll-ups. Now, I think, not 2.5, 3 maybe?
There was a lot of roll-ups.
How
there was
many
at least
roll-ups?
3 on this show.
Oh, my God. Next
maybe
year,
4
for
on this
2022, we're going to start counting roll-ups. I'm writing it down. I will not forget, because I feel like now we're a little too far into the year to...
there's no way we can...
there'd be no way to, retroactively kind of go back there. 2022, we're going to count every roll-up. Because I think the roll-up finish is the new 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, I mean, anyone, that's the thing.
It's
any wrestler can pull it off at any time, any moment, any promotion. I mean, we see roll-ups in
across the board. Oh, this isn't WWE exclusive. It's become like a new booking decision
Yeah, but they do abuse it, especially Raw. Everything about Raw is the worst. So, of course.
Just everything. You're right. Kofi, do like that. Like we said, Bobby Lashley is looking for somebody else, a new babyface champion. And without the New Day, it's the New Day not being in this past week's kind of tag team picture. Of course, we were more focusing on AJ and crew. Who knows? Maybe Eddie Kingston, not Eddie Kingston, Kofi Kingston and Bobby Lashley is the next thing.
Yeah, that'd be a good little filler feud. They haven't really crossed paths too much, so yeah, I'm fine with that. It's not Drew, it's not Braun, so let's do it.
Not Drew, let's Braun. Let's do it. I guess that would be all the action for the first half of the show. Mike, should we take a break?
Yes, let us.
We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back with the former Wednesday Night Wars, but now it's just called normal television. So you're going to want to stick around.
Let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, yeah, let's shoot, brother, yeah.
Welcome back here to the podcast, folks. Part 2, covering the, of course, our flagship show, Monday Night Raw, our second show, SmackDown. They're old. They're filled with the olds, the has-beens, the already-ares. But when we focus the second half of the show on the upcomings and the never-heard-ofs.
Yeah, there's some has-beens as well.
There are a couple has-beens, that pop up every so often. But hey, sometimes, the second half of the show is where, a 38-year-old from Brooklyn who had no television time for 20 years, can finally pop up in main events all over the place. Pay-per-view bouts.
Yeah, that's very true.
That is very true. Let's get into the first little chunk that we have here. Let's talk about the Gold, Black, and Bird brand, because we are talking about NXT. That bird is still there.
That bird's
with
there?
no explanation. They just kind of added this new logo and expected no one to notice. But I'm going to notice.
A bird with a human skull, right?
Of course, you're going to notice a bird with a human skull.
Is that like a mythical? You know how there's like half horse, half man? And is there a half bird, half human type thing?
Yeah, wasn't there an episode of The Simpsons where they find...
Oh, yeah, Mr. Burns was like a bird?
No, they find a skeleton of what looks like an angel...
Oh, yeah.
But then it turns, because it's got the wings, then it turns out just be like something else that, no, maybe I have my story wrong. Either way, we're talking NXT.
NXT, but what does it mean? I don't know, but it's some good wrestling. So NXT, watch and see. Gotta tap out a count out of 1, 2, 3. So
Triple H's show. I do wonder sometimes, when Vince McMahon passes away and all control kind of goes over to Hunter over there, does that mean that Trips' kids are going to be in charge of NXT? Like, does it have to be a direct familial lineage? Or, because eventually we're going to need someone calling the shots over there.
Yeah.
Because
it'll be a bit.
It'll be like whenever a new presidential candidate or, winner comes in and they kind of shuffle out the cabinet. When Vince McMahon goes on, Paul Heyman's out. All these, because we need time. We need to bring in Matt Bloom. We need to bring in Shawn Michaels. We need to bring in these guys, and then kind of reformat ourselves down there. Who knows? Paul Heyman could be in charge of NXT before we know it.
Yeah, or maybe some of those guys that he's grooming will stay, and maybe Shawn Michaels stays down there and Triple H moves over.
Maybe they just hand over NXT to Daniel Bryan. I mean,
there you go. Or William Regal becomes an actual man of power.
Yeah, Fit Finlay comes back. There are 1,000,001 opportunities, but we actually kick off this week's NXT with some women's action. We're talking Zoe Stark. We're talking Toni Storm.
Put them together, Tony Stark.
Or Zoe Storm.
Yeah, but this is not a Marvel movie. This is a feud that's been going on for a few weeks now. Stark just still establishing herself here on this brand, and
I'd say Toni Storm also.
Yeah, Toni Storm. She's we know who she is a bit more, but hasn't had a lot of those big moments here on NXT America. But they have a good match here. Nice, evenly fought. Toni hits the Storm 0, but Stark kicks out. So Toni follows up with I don't even know what to call it. This crazy move. I've never seen it before.
I'd call it new finisher. That's what I'm calling. That's what I'm calling it.
Well, the twisting STO driver.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of modified. It was a brain buster of
It was
some
cool.
kind.
It was like 2 or 3 moves combined.
That's all we're doing now. We're just taking finishers, putting them together, and seeing what we can figure out.
Yeah, I like it though. It was a big move that got her the 3 count. So statement win here for Tony, and a cool new finisher.
I mean, because all a one-winged angel really is just kind of like a reversed power bomb driver.
Or it's like a Michinoku driver off your shoulder.
Off your shoulders. I mean, it's all the same shit.
Yeah, they're all
baby.
similar
it's all
shit.
The same shit.
Stone Cold Stunner is almost a cutter.
Tony Storm pulls this one off, and a new finisher can be a sign of rebuilding yourself. Rebuilding yourself as a title contender.
Yeah, there's always anywhere she goes, there's a place for Tony Storm. She's great.
Amen.
But as she celebrates, Frankie Monet, her entrance hits. Her and she's got little Presley with her, of course, and they're just kind of here to steal the spotlight, literally, as the lights just come down to them, and they have a little kiss, puppy and owner.
Does it say Frankie Monet with Presley?
No, I think she only mentioned the name once, but I'll never forget.
I know you'll never forget. I just pictured it being one of those things that's like behind.
It should say that. Well, when she comes out, because they announced next week is her in-ring debut.
Perfect.
So
I guess we'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll see when we have our first heading. Will it say
like it's her manager?
Like it's her manager.
Presley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm hoping the dog is trained to do some spots.
Maybe. Who knows? There could be like a yeah. Who knows? Something like a little.
Eventually this dog's gonna take a shit.
Like a little copper tone dog type thing. Like they kind of reaches for someone's ring attire. They're like, hey, and then just enough to cause the distraction.
Yeah, unties their bootlace.
Something like that.
I hope so. Especially, do it now while it's still pre-taped and they can do something elaborate.
Yeah.
But anyways, Candice, we go to this off-site segment where Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell are getting a nice day at the spa. So, they're getting massages. They got their faces all covered with the mask, the cucumber. But then we see Dexter appear. He's the one massaging Indy. But then they don't know he's there. They both just start trash-talking him, calling him a loser right in front of him. So he walks off. He doesn't know what to think.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's sad or... I don't know if he gets emotions.
Yeah. They played the old Prime Target, the hype video for Karrion Kross Finn Balor Part 2, which those are always well put together.
Electric Boogaloo. Now, is that going to happen at the In Your House show?
No, I think that's going to be like 2 weeks or something.
Okay, yeah. Because I guess, I don't know when that In Your House thing, they only mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah, sometime in June. I can't remember.
Cool.
But, we cut to the parking lot where we see Cameron Grimes pull up in this beautiful Rolls Royce. But he's been told that the spot's reserved for Mr. Ted DiBiase.
That's good.
So, I guess so. But we go back to the ring where Jake Atlas takes on Cameron Grimes. And when old Grimey comes out, he plays this montage of $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase moments, which ends up just turning into clips of him getting beaten up and embarrassed. So we go into the match. Everything's going fine. When we cut back to the parking lot again, we see this stretch limo pull up with the big gold dollar sign on it. So we know who's in there. Grimes, he's in control of the match. He's ready to hit the cave-in when the $1 Million Man's music hits. He comes out on the stage, which distracts Grimes. So Atlas hits a sunset flip, gets the win. And then DiBiase just laughs at Grimes.
Yeah, this Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase is evolving more than we all thought it would. We seemed like a silly one-off joke, but now it feels like there's going to be a payoff.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that next week they're going to face-to-face meet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, could this be the return of the $1 Million
At this point, I hope so. They might as well just bring it back, let Grimes have a little belt to carry around.
I mean, yeah, it seems like we're now 3, maybe 4 weeks straight of doing it. Yeah, I think there's going to be a payoff of some kind.
I hope so. We go to a sit-down interview with Pete Dunne And I got to say, great wrestler, not a very interesting talker, this Pete Dunne. Especially in this setting. I don't know. I didn't really gather a whole lot from it.
No, maybe not.
Just says, I'm tough, I want the title. But anyways, let's move along because we got Aaron Wolf taking on Killian Dane. This kind of little mini feud we've been building up for a few weeks here. The former Sanity members. But during the match, the other members of Imperium, they try to get involved. They hand a chair to Wolf, but he hesitates a bit and then takes it. But Killian Dane comes charging at him with a crossbody and gets a 3 count off that.
God,
not a very impressive move.
I know, and especially after all this build, it was like a little miniature fight for no reason. Imperium. If Imperium's kicking out Alexander Wolf, it'll be interesting to see where he goes after that.
Well, funny you should mention. So, yeah, after the match, the Imperium, they're not happy. They beat down Wolf, so he's out of the group. But then the very next day, we find out not only is he out of the group, he's out of NXT. He's been released. So, releasing part 2.
3.
I guess part 3. I mean, part 2 of this year. He was the biggest name, I guess, right? You had a couple other developments. You had that ref asshole Drake.
The spray tanned ref.
Yeah. Wolf and Jessamine Duke. I guess she's the other.
Jessamine Duke, of course. Marina Shafir, she's still kicking around.
Yeah. Is she the one that's married to Roddy?
She's the one married to Roddy. The one that's dating Joey Janela, she's also gone. So just a little crowd. Yeah.
So really weird, though, that you would book him in this and then release him the next day. Like in the... Seems weird, right?
It does seem weird, yeah. Unless it's like one of those things where truly, like, they had no idea. Who knows how quickly these decisions kind of go up the flagpole. When you're releasing someone from a contract, you don't necessarily need to give them, notice.
No, it's just weird to me. Just like, there was a storyline that happened. And I guess the story ended. Wolf's beaten and gone. You would think maybe he teams up with Killian Dane again after, but nope.
Yeah, which is a little too bad, but
Yeah. No, at the end of the day, it's Wolf. His ceiling was not that high. But Oh well, let's move on. Because we got some tag team action. Legado del Fantasma taking on Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. And just a hard hitting match here. Ciampa hits Mendoza with a stiff elbow to the face, which just busts his lip open pretty good there.
Good old bust.
Yeah, stiff lip. Busted open, blood all over him. They even took the time to clean him up during the commercial break, wipe him down. But he fights on long enough for the grizzled young veterans to come out, and they attack Ciampa. They hit the Ticket to Mayhem onto the edge of the ring behind the ref's back. And Legado follow up with their finishing move. That gets them the big win.
I know, that was a bummer, because I want Ciampa and Thatcher to, get wins. Because they continue to bring everything they have to every single match.
Yeah, they I see no reason why they couldn't be tag champs sometime in the near future.
Yeah, I see no reason why that couldn't happen. And for the other side, for Legado, who knows where they'll go also.
Yeah, they're still, they're in there. They're still second fiddle to Escobar a little bit, but they're trying to make themselves.
They're trying something, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. But we go backstage where Bobby Fish is getting interviewed, and he calls out Pete Dunne and One Lorcan for, being the ones that put him out of action originally with that torn triceps he had back at War Games. And he just had to watch from the sides as the Undisputed Era imploded. So there's a debt to be paid, and he wants to start with you, Pete Dunne.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Why not?
We go back to the spa once again, where Candice's credit card gets declined. And they say the reason was a charge for some flowers from a few weeks ago. So Candice tries to deny, and Indy's like, wait a minute. Did Ember and Shotzi get those flowers from Dexter or from you? Do you know what this means, Candice? He still loves me. So she runs off. She's all happy. Yeah, bit of a miss of a segment for me. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
How would flowers max out your credit card when you're
I mean, have you
successful?
ever bought a dozen roses?
Even if there were $500 of roses?
Yeah, it seems like a little ceiling to max it out. Who knows, but the way is I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Indies in love.
They're the
I'm happy for
champions, though.
Indy.
They're the champions all over the place.
They're the champs. Yeah, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. It was just, the segment wasn't that good for me.
No.
But let's go back to the ring. We got good old Aaliyah taking on Saray, who is on a hot streak here since coming in. But she's dealing with all the Robert Stone brand on the outside with their dirty tactics. But her skill set is just far greater than Aaliyah. And she ends up hitting her with that big Saito suplex to finish the job and continue her winning ways.
Yeah, and I think that was like the only real purpose of the match was just keep the win alive.
Yeah, it was fine. She's come in looking strong. I like it so far. We get another teaser, this little promo showing like MMA boxing training for, I don't know, something called the Diamond Mine. So still don't know what this is. The Diamond Mine. Is it a faction? Is it a wrestler? I don't know.
Is it a new dance like Gangnam Style? It could be any number of things here.
It could be Raw Underground Part 2.
Hey, thank God, NXT Underground. They have the space, maybe.
They do.
I don't know.
They got a bunch of extra rings and stuff.
Yeah.
But we go to some tag action here. The debut of Hit Row. Ashanti the Adonis and Top Dollar taking on Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. We've seen lots of Isaiah Swerve recently, so nice to showcase these other guys here from Hit Row.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, Top Dollar hits this cool finisher. It's kind of like an attitude adjustment, but he turns it into a neck breaker. So,
At one point.
cool.
Yeah, another one. Just kind of put two things together.
Yeah, cool move. So Hit Row get the convincing win. So nice. And then they cut a little promo after, do a little rap.
Yeah, I think, just making them look strong. And the Isaiah Swerve Scott thing here on NXT has really felt like refreshing to me. Kind of feels like this guy who was on 205 Live, whose name is around, but never really given much like spotlight. It's really cool to see something like, quite frankly, like, kind of like new to me. I really didn't know much about him before, and now we're seeing him all the time.
Yeah, this Hit Row has you build them up, they have a chance to become the new top group, top stable, the new Undisputed Era type deal on NXT.
And like we said, I think we said that last week, we are looking for the next Undisputed Era. No reason why it can't be these 4.
Yeah, I agree. But let's go to this main event that they were kind of hyping up throughout the night. Johnny Gargano defending his North American Championship against Bronson Reed in a good old steel cage match. So, of course, Gargano, the little guy, right off the bat, he's just trying to run out the door, trying to escape whenever he can. So Bronson's just, slamming him against the walls, beating him all around. But yeah, Johnny hits some nice moves, the moonsault off the ropes, and Austin Theory's on the outside trying to climb and kicking at the cage whenever he can, doing all that shit. Some big spots off the top ropes, power bomb, sunset bomb off the wall of the cage. Johnny Gargano hits a poison rana onto Bronson Reed. So that was pretty crazy. Just backflipping onto your head is always funny.
Backflipping onto your head is always impressive to watch.
Especially when you're like 400 pounds.
Yeah, I'd love to see, we were talking about the Olympics earlier on before the show. That event, the gymnastics event where it's like they have this big square and then they run from one side to the other and do some crazy flip in the middle? Would love to see the event, but it's just backflip on your head, backflip on your head, backflip on your head. How many backflips on your head can you take, before you get a 10 out of 10?
Yeah. Well, the poison rana, big bump, doesn't get the win though. So they both climb up the cage. Bronson hits the other top rope power bomb. Anyways, they're both climbing the cage again later on. Johnny gets knocked down. He tries to crawl over to the door, But then Bronson just jumps off, hits a big splash, slams the door shut, and then he climbs to the top rope, and from there he hits the tsunami, gets a 3 count. So new North American champion, Bronson Reed.
Brand new, baby. It seems like, yeah, Johnny Gargano has been Mr. North America. And by doing so, you know, there is a point where, you know, you win, you lose, you win, you lose, and then you're going to lose it again. And Johnny Gargano has been great at putting other guys over. Him and Candice LeRae are really turning into mom and dad down there on NXT. A huge win, not only for Bronson Reed, but for the country of Australia.
Yeah, no, he was very emotional.
The second Australian champion in WWE, because I believe Rhea Ripley's from New Zealand.
Yeah, who always they don't like it when you.
They don't like it when you call the other one the other one.
Yeah,
I don't know. You know, I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, congratulations to Bronson Reed. Huge work he's put in the past year. Ever since that there was the Fatal 5-Way ladder match.
Yeah. No, he's been on a roll. Big celebration, lots of pyro.
He got the pyro. He got the zoom out.
Yeah, he breaks down some tears.
Look at me go.
Well deserved win for a good guy.
Very
good
much
guy.
So. Big old boy.
Yeah. And that was the Birdman brand.
The Birdman brand. That is exactly right. Well, let's move ourselves across to the other side of the brand, of course, or the other side of the wrestling world. The only wrestling show that we kind of cover on our podcast that doesn't funnel cash directly to Vince McMahon. Because, of course, we are talking about All Elite Wrestling Dynamite?
AEW. All Elite. They coming for you, Vince. Better watch out. It's too sweet.
And I mean, Mike, I say that right now because, you know, I mean, previously we just kind of will open up the section by saying AEW. Hey, it's AEW. That doesn't matter. It's just AEW. That's what it is. You know, versus the other shows where we have to say, we can't just say it's WWE because that could mean any number of things. Mm-hmm. Well, it actually just came out just before Dynamite even aired earlier on in the day that, well, we'll be having to specify which AEW show we're talking about because in 2022, huge news coming out of All Elite Wrestling. Not only is the show moving over to TBS from TNT, but they are actually also getting a second show that we'll be calling AEW Rampage, which will debut this year?
Summertime, I think.
Summertime this year, but then 2022 moving over officially. That'll debut in the summertime. It's happening 10 p.m. on Friday night. What a cool time slot.
Right after SmackDown.
Right after SmackDown, baby. The deal also happened while AEW will be getting 4 additional pay-per-views or larger shows.
Yeah, special events.
Special events,
so
they kind of called it. Who knows what it could end up actually being.
Fighter Fest, beach break type thing.
Maybe something
it'll
official.
Make them more special.
However, that would mean upping ourselves from 4 of these big events to 8 of them every year.
Well, I think these wouldn't be considered pay-per-views, though.
They would, these big events, whatever we're calling them. But
winter is coming.
But yeah, suddenly these things where, you know, before, you know, or kind of prior to now, we sort of build ourselves up to these once every few months pay-per-view or larger show, but now we have these other large shows.
Yeah. No, this is good news. Good news for AEW. I mean, I'm glad it's a separate show, not a third hour to Dynamite. That's never.
Well, I mean, that's the word. I mean, I think that's the worst part about Monday Night Raw. Almost probably at all. I think that has to be the root of the problems is that third hour. Why does NXT do so well? Why does SmackDown do so well? Because it's simple, it's digestible, and I think doing the same here for Rampage would be great, which would mean that there would be 2 network shows along with 2 YouTube shows, which is crazy. And before anybody goes thinking, or whatever you're thinking, good or bad, TBS and TNT are both owned under the same bracket of Warner Media. Of course, these are the same people who own HBO Max. They own AT&T. One of these things where, one company owns it all. So it's not so much of falling out with one company, moving over to a different one, moving over to a network, TBS, which does have more viewers than TNT has. So it'll be interesting to see. That can only mean popularity.
Yeah.
Put it on add a second show and put it on a bigger network.
It is the time slot's a bit of a gamble. We'll see. Friday at 10 p.m. There's a lot of things going on in the world.
Yeah, but it's certainly anticipating a touring type schedule. Also, it's like when you go if you're going out to see a stand up comedian. Those shows don't even start until 10:30 at night. You get a couple drinks in you. You're ready to laugh, ready to go. Who knows? Maybe.
Well, that's what I mean. Because that's what I mean. So they're going to be out watching the comedian instead of watching the show on TV.
Oh, no. I was more thinking for the touring schedule. Of course, if AEW starts at 10 p.m., great. That's 2 extra hours for us to drink at home before we go watch it.
I imagine this will be 1 hour taped on the same night as Dynamite, and they'll just air it.
Okay, yeah, I'm very curious. Yeah, I guess we'll.
We have no idea. That's just be guessing.
See, which is funny because I just assumed it would be a hot live show, but I guess it could be. It could be any of these things.
Could be.
But which is very exciting news for the entire All Elite Wrestling family. But of course, let's get into the weekly show because the march continues to Double or Nothing. That's happening 2 weekends from now. So not this weekend. We have on May 30th. But this really seemed to be an episode devoted to tag team wrestling, like most of these Dynamites kind of end up being. We actually kick off this week's match, because I think last week Christian Cage officially accepted an open challenge to Matt Sydal. Remember, he's the one who wears pants and he has a full head of hair. So these two are taking each other on in a hot opener.
Yeah, it was. You can call it hot. It was warm. It was okay. I don't know. It was all right. Nothing too crazy for me. I guess at one point Christian borrows a page out of Edge's book, hits a spear. That only gets a 2 count, so he hits the kill switch after that finishes the job. And Christian improves to 3-0 in AEW.
3-0 after that. So I think Taz was on commentary this whole time. So, of course, if Taz is on commentary, that means someone's going to walk out down to the ring. I think after the match, Ricky Starks comes out, says all like, hey, I'm Ricky Starks. And then Brian Cage, Hobbs, Hook, they all come out and end up attacking everyone kind of from behind. Hangman Page comes and makes the save. I think at one point the Dark Order maybe runs out and makes an extended save. Just men saving each other, which is something I love to see. If I was back there as a babyface and I saw something shady going down in the ring, I'm marching down there to help them out. Because, of course, we do have Adam Hangman Page and Brian Cage, which is difficult to say, taking each other on at Double or Nothing. Next up, come down to the ring, I guess. Maybe there was a segment in between.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Oh. But we have Jon Moxley, Willie Eddie Kingston, taking on the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed came back in what seems like years ago. And it felt like they were going to be pushed to the top, but they sort of cooled down and sort of had that extended dark run. But now they're here up on the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, they are the number 3 ranked team. But Mox and Kingston are all the way up to number 4 ranked now. So, hey, good for them. But, yeah, the match itself, or I guess even before the match, Caster had a good line in his rap about Jon Moxley's wife wanting him for some oral sessions. The name of her podcast.
Podcast. Check out this week's episode with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, saw a couple of fun quotes from there.
It's a good show. I think out of all the, because sometimes I can't listen to Chris Jericho for 30 minutes straight.
No.
But Renee, it feels so fun.
Yeah, she's a good person. But anyways, the match was solid. Not as much high flying as we'll see in some of the other teams, but that's fine. Bunch of cool double team maneuvers and Acclaimed. They try to sneak in the weapons, but Moxley ends up getting a hold of the boombox, nails Caster with it, And then Mox and Eddie follow up with this wheelbarrow paradigm shift to get the win.
Yeah, a little hold up. I like Eddie Kingston does this thing where he just kind of like puts up his hands, like they're giving up into the paradigm shift. Moxley still walking down to the ring to a Wild Thing, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, so I guess they're going to stick with it. That's his new entrance.
Of course. So, yeah, you know what that means. We do have, I think if it's not set in stone, it will be soon. But, yeah, Moxley and Kingston are on a freight train heading towards the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
The match has yet to be officially announced, but it certainly as hell feels like that's what's going to be happening.
Yeah, they win 2 more matches on Dark and Dynamite, and now they're ranked number 1. Boom. But then we go back to Tony Schiavone in the ring to interview Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page. They just talk about Sting. They insult him and Darby. So Sting comes out. Darby comes in with the skateboard. Everyone brawls. Sting applies a Scorpion Deathlock. And then the baby faces stand tall.
Baby faces stand tall. It really feels like this is on a repeat path to exactly where the Team Taz business was, right? We have two heels. What's the name of the other guy? Page, Ethan Page. I thought his promo was fucking bomb this week.
Yeah.
And he was fighting through, and I almost forgot this over the past year. He was fighting through a lot of crowd jeering the whole time. He was fighting through a lot of boos, a lot of whats. And which almost I forgot what that even sounded like, but he got through it in, possibly his biggest, kind of promo here. But yeah, very much so just feels like exactly what we did with Darby and Sting before.
Yeah, I think they did announce that they will have a tag match.
Tag match?
An in-ring, so Sting will be in the ring.
His in-ring debut.
Yeah, no tricks, no pre-tape. So we'll see that. But then we go to this fancy restaurant where the Pinnacle are all dining together. Wardlow chugs a bottle of wine. They all just kind of go around the table cutting promos on Inner Circle and having to waste their time on them instead of chasing titles. And then Sean Spears attacks one of the waiters, gets mad at him. That was about it.
And then, Tully tossed him a stack of cash. This was great.
Oh, yeah.
This was a great kind of like the way the camera panned around. MJF is one of the best, not only in AEW, I gotta say it, the business to be doing these promotions right now. Promotions, as you would call them.
Yeah, that's what it is. The Pinnacle looking like badasses.
Looking good.
Then we go to some women's action. We got Rebel taking on Hikaru Shida. And hey, look at that. Hikaru Shida's on television.
Hikaru Shida, so much so I honestly forgot what the AEW Women's Championship looked like. Honestly.
Well, it's they could redo it. They could redo the look of that belt a little bit. But Shida's here to wrestle Reba. Baker's on the outside. So Shida knows this, though. At one point in the match, she mocks Baker by pulling out a glove. She's ready to go for the lockjaw. So Britt grabs the woman's title, jumps on the apron. This all causes a distraction for everyone, which allows Rebel to hit Shida in the back with a crutch. She follows up with a suplex, but only gets a 2 count. And then Shida fights back, hits a big knee breaker into a stretch muffler, and gets a submission win.
Every single time there is a crutch used in professional wrestling, whatever you call them. What are those? Is that what they're called?
Crutches?
Yeah. Every time it's just one crutch. No matter who is the one swinging it, and no matter who's the one that accepts it, it explodes on impact right away. Like, I've been on crutches. I've never tried to hit someone with one of them. But, how do you trick a crutch to make it explode immediately? Every single time it works, and this one was no different. Shida beating Rebel, never in question. The post-match breakdown, never in question. I would love to see fucking Britt Baker win. She looked weird kind of holding it, to be honest. The way she was holding it, I was like, oh, I thought it was bigger. I forgot it was so small. I feel like they built the AEW Women's Championship looking at Riho And they
Yeah.
were like, yeah, that's proportionate. And then kind of moved it over to somebody who's not like 4'11", and they're like, oh, this thing's just like a belt.
Yeah, no, I do think it needs to be a bit of a redesign, make it a bit bigger, maybe widen the plate a bit.
Yeah,
It's
a
kind
little bit of
it's
a
more tall than it
redesign.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the yeah.
It only,
Maybe Britt Baker will do that when she wins.
yeah, who knows? I mean, although it's only been here for a little while, a rebranding of the title could be exactly.
I mean, we've had 3 versions of the TNT title, so why not?
2. Oh,
Well, we
yeah,
had
I
the
forgot the
unfinished version.
temporary version.
Yeah, the silver word.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that one. Yeah, let's go. After the match, I think we're taken backstage to a little video from last week of OC Orange Cassidy. He's back there with the medical professionals. He's getting iced up. And Kenny Omega, Don Callis come back, not as competitors, just as an EVP. You know, I mean, an executive vice president has to look after his talent. And just because Kenny Omega is the champion doesn't mean that he's exempt from that category. You know, he cares about Orange Cassidy, you know, not only as a performer for the company going forward, but his health in the present. And he suggests to Orange Cassidy, hey, just sign these standard boilerplate legal documents. By doing so, you know, you'll be forgoing your championship opportunity at Double or Nothing. Of course, the triple threat with Pac there, and Kenny. You know, you'll get an opportunity somewhere down the road.
Yeah, later time you'll have your dream match, but Orange Cassidy just picks up the contract and very slowly tears it up. But luckily they have a backup, a duplicate, so they leave that with him and give him time to think about it.
If you ever time to think about it, of course, he rips up the first one in very slow, the slowest possible rip up.
Yeah.
And Kenny and Don are hanging on until that page finishes ripping. And then he kind of folds it up and he goes to rip it again. And Don Callis just throws in this really funny, whoop, you're doing it again, eh? He just throws, he says, just this real, oh, okay, you're going to do that again? Okay. Yeah, so, you know, the Orange Cassidy silencing the overconfident Kenny Omega. That's exactly it. You know, that's exactly it. This triple threat, it's not only glad to see that Orange Cassidy is alive and well, but a triple threat for the championship is something we haven't seen yet in AEW, or from Kenny Omega, really, for that matter. So it would be great to see how all 3 of these men, 3 of the most popular wrestlers on the planet, going at it.
Yeah, that's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
Then we get the members of the Inner Circle. They come out to cut a promo, and they kind of all just take their turns dissing on the Pinnacle and hyping up the Stadium Stampede match. Yeah, that was nothing too specific stood out to me, but pretty standard. Just Chris Jericho's big red eyes.
Yep, Chris Jericho accepts the match, and I think he said, we're going to dance on your face and piss on your grave.
Yeah. There was a couple of bitches thrown in there.
Which was the highlight. Dean Malenko was backstage there too, also. Which, you know,
Yeah,
it's nice.
does he have like Parkinson's or something? He was kind of shaky.
I think he just looks like a 60-year-old man who's wrestled his whole life. I don't know if you know.
But he was very shaky.
Oh, okay.
Stop moving.
I know.
Not that it matters.
I don't think I noticed that. No, I hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's a backstage producer guy back there. Who knows? He could be the Fit Finley of AEW for all we know.
I honestly thought he was still with WWE until I saw him.
The man of 1,000 holds.
Yeah, I forgot. I thought he was still working backstage at the W.
Nope, at the W Hotel.
But then we go to some women's action here. Serena Deeb, we haven't seen in a while, defending that NWA Women's title against Red Velvet. Who, both women here look pretty good. Deeb especially, though, very vicious. But yeah, Velvet hits a couple moves, moonsault to the floor, good back and forth. But Serena works over Red Velvet's knees and locks in the Serenity until she taps out. So Deeb retains.
Serena Deeb, one of my favorite names in professional wrestling. Also, which I got to say, you know, I mean, I guess it was nice to see a second women's match, which lasted probably 4 times as long as the first women's match. So, you know, little pluses right there too. I think, you know, with the strength of with the strength of Britt Baker, kind of combined with the NWA Women's Championship, maybe, it'd be nice to get ourselves to a point where every week we have 2 women's matches.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But then we go to Anthony Ogogo is taking on Austin Gunn here. And, Gunn gets a few shots in, but Ogogo just gets a hold of him, hits him with a big gut punch. That just knocks Gunn down, and he crawls to the ropes. He pulls himself back up, but then he gets nailed with another gut punch. This time, rupturing something internally. He just starts spitting up blood. So the ref wants to call the match, but he stops him. So Ogogo just launches him into the air, hits one more big punch to the head, and that's the TKO right there. That's the end of the match.
Yeah, that seems to be just that one punch is going to be the maneuver. Remember when Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman took on each other, and there was like that double one punch count out?
Yeah, it was so weird.
Yeah, I mean, the Ogogo Rhodes rivalry feels pretty thoughtless. We needed well, of course, Cody has to have a match at Double or Nothing. This guy looks the part. There's a slight legitimacy to him. I mean, who knows? These things have surprised us before. We've gone into pay-per-views thinking nothing and then end up getting something. So
yeah. No, I mean, then he grabs the American flag and throws it at Cody. So they're doing the whole American villain thing.
Yeah,
I hate America.
A classic national rivalry, America and Britain. Nothing is more. Yeah, 1776. That's how deep rooted the American Nightmare and Anthony Ogogo have.
Well, remember, he's bringing back the American Dream for this one night only.
I know. I wasted opportunity.
So maybe that's why they're forcing this anti-America thing.
Yeah, they're really. If there's one country I know is classically anti-America, it's England.
Yeah, I don't know. Then we get a promo backstage. Just kind of Christopher Daniels saying goodbye to Kazarian. And then, Kazarian cuts a passionate promo on the Elite and promises to hunt them down for causing the end of SCU.
One by one, just taking them all out.
Which, it was kind of nice to get some more closure on that ending. We said it was rushed last week, the end of SCU. So a little bit of follow-up is nice here.
Yeah.
Then the new TNT champ. Who are they going to call it the TBS title? Or are they going to keep it as TNT?
So my new thing is television champion. I think they're going to call it the television champion.
That's been.
NWA
WCW
did it. I think either they're going to call it like the AEW TV champion.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Because it is a nice looking belt. I would like to see as little kind of harm brought to it as possible.
Yeah, I like it.
But I mean,
change the center
Mike, if you have a second show, do we need a second mid card?
I don't know. We'll see. But anyway,
is it going to be split up rosters similarly to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown?
I don't think so. Personally, I think it'll just be a companion piece.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the 10 p.m. time slot gets them. I mean, they already have a lot of blood and shit, but maybe they could do even more.
Yes.
Maybe drop some F-bombs.
Woo!
So Miro comes out with his shiny new belt and just kind of cuts a promo on beating Darby Allin and his next opponent, which will be Lance Archer at Double or Nothing. So Mr. Archer himself comes out, gives his own little promo, and we'll get that match in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks, little powerhouse versus powerhouse without Will Hobbs being involved at all.
Yeah, also, apparently next week's Dynamite is on a Friday?
Yes, Friday Night Dynamite, I believe, and they've done this before, to work around NBA playoffs.
Yeah, which I think is another big benefit of moving to TBS. They don't play the sports, they just play old movies.
And baseball, but that's like a daytime thing, so
yeah,
no one cares. But also, I think TNT is losing hockey, NHL hockey. So there is some, and of course, Discovery recently acquired Warner Media. There's a whole bunch of media shuffling going on within that kind of subsidiaries. So who knows what we'll see?
Who knows? The future is glowing.
It's bright, yeah.
But the main event features another bright future superstars here, as the Varsity Blondes are getting a big opportunity at those AEW World Tag Titles against the Young Bucks here. So, just fun, fast-paced tag title match here. Lots of high-flying, big dives to the floor. Much different style than the Moxley-Kingston. But both good, all good here. The Young Bucks take time to show off these fancy Jordans, which apparently people online are calling them out for being fakes. But, who's going to spend $10,000 on a pair of shoes?
And who cares enough? Like, it's fiction.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's fiction.
Yeah, I don't give a damn.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if they actually have Dior Jordans. The joke is they have Dior Jordans.
Exactly. I don't give a damn. But yeah, later on in the match, Matt gets a hold of that cold spray once again, which is becoming like their new signature weapon. And he ends up spraying poor Julia Hart. This poor woman. She gets sprayed in the face. And then soon after that, the Bucks hit this cool double team move I haven't seen from them before. It was like a sharpshooter, but then the other guy does a face buster at the same time. Great looking move.
Good. A lot of good combo moves this week.
Yeah, the Bucks, their bag of tricks is endless.
Yeah.
Matt keeps that sharpshooter applied, and Brian Pillman Jr. taps out, so the Bucks retain. But a good match. And then afterwards, Moxley and Kingston come running out. They beat the Bucks up, and they apply sleeper holds on them, knock them out. And then Kingston, he's from Brooklyn, he's from the streets, so he takes the shoes right off of the Bucks' feet. Those thousands of dollars shoes, steals them.
Wow. Thousands of dollars those cost.
Yeah.
And John Moxley, he doesn't care about vanity. He doesn't care about shoes. He's probably just going to burn them in a desert fire somewhere.
Yeah. He's got a pair of combat boots that he's owned since '82.
Yeah. Real combat boots. They were worn in combat. And then he sort of just like, where boots, they kind of have a shelf life in that they're just not comfortable after a long time? No, not these.
Yeah.
They're still as comfy as the day he ever got them.
Yeah. And that was it. That was the episode of Dynamite. We're on the track to Double or Nothing. Getting real close there.
Getting real close here to Double or Nothing. Really excited about everything that's going on over here at AEW, especially the future of the brand now that we have this whole second show being added. But that was it. That was all of our weekly wrestling action. Let's get ourselves into the very, very final part of our show. We are talking about the Wrestler of the Week.
It's the Wrestler of the Week, of the Week. Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week. The Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week. The Wrestler of the Week, of the Week, of the Week. The Wrestler of the Week.
Big Backlash pay-per-view for you here. A couple title wins all across the brands. Mike, I'm throwing it over to you to kick this boy off.
Well, yeah, we had some good matches across the shows, some good moments, some title wins. A lot of times I give the edge to that first title, the emotional moment, but not doing it this week. I'm sorry, Tamina. No, because I was just, I don't know, as I talked about the match, I was just very impressed. I said it was his best match ever, so I'm giving it to Braun Strowman, of all people, this week.
Braun Strowman, of all people. Braun Strowman has won a surprising amount of Wrestler of the Weeks.
Really?
Consider, the amount of times that we have, been unimpressed with what he's done. Sometimes, what he does just tickles us in that right way.
Yeah, and I was tickled this week.
Just a little bit tickled. Like, I'm going the other way with it. I'm going to stick on that same program, though, because sometimes it's not about a match that impresses me. Sometimes it's about congratulating something that you were owed. And there is a lot of victory and defeat, especially when you are a 4-time most underrated wrestler, Observer winner. Of course, we are talking about Cesaro. You're my Wrestler of the Week. You know what? You took the big L on that one. However, you took a 30-minute main event to the most dominant performer on the planet right now. You got what you've been working for your whole life, and that's a fucking main event on a pay-per-view for the championship. That's what dreams are made of right there. Maybe next time we see Cesaro fighting for a championship belt, who knows? He could end up on the other side of the coin.
Hey,
As
who
it
knows?
were. That would be lovely to see. But until then, you're going to be the Wrestler of the Week this week. And thanks for listening to our podcast, folks. Putting all that time. Remember to rate, review, like, and subscribe because the podcast is everywhere. We have one more show before Double or Nothing where we'll kind of get into all of that action. Maybe a little bit skewed, though, actually. I guess kind of our normal time slot. We wouldn't really fit in the way with AEW's Friday show next week. So, who knows? The next time we might talk about AEW might just be straight into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
We'll see how.
But, in the meantime, enjoy your long weekend.
Enjoy your long weekend, everyone. Stay safe out there. Wear your sunscreen. I'm an SPF 50 kind of guy. So follow in my footsteps and stay safe out there. And Mike, we'll talk to you later.
Go Leafs,
Go Leafs, go, baby. Okay, bye.
Woo!